My people, make una see Oshomole wey fight against removal of subsidy, wey come make people love am, wey come make Oshomole come dey reign for everywhere. Because now your party don dey power now, e dey talk about removal of subsidy. Now you dey defend am, my people. They say these politicians e get the way una rated dey, e get the way una rated dey. But why e be say Oshomole, why e be say you dey lie say Peter Obi talk say if he enter power he go remove subsidy. Oshomole, so you wey your fight against removal of subsidy, na come dey talk like this. So my people, wonder the say shall never end. I no understand how these politicians dey treat us. I don't know why they behave like this. Make una watch this video, my people. Make una watch this video.
Today, I have a former governor of Edo State, Comrade Adams Oshomole, senator-elect, and a former NLC president who has been sitting in on behalf of the federal government at the meetings with Labour. He joins us live here in our studio. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Shiv, for having me.
It's almost difficult to describe all your roles because of the context of what we are going to be discussing tonight, which is the fuel subsidy. Today, there was another meeting, a follow-up from the last Wednesday's meeting. But obviously, there was the absence of NLC. Do you know why?
No idea, because the decision to meet today was agreement between the NLC, the TUC, and the government representative. Because that was the first meeting to exchange ideas and sort out various parties what they thought and all of that. And we were to meet today to exchange further ideas and see how we can find a common ground. Now, I'm not in a position to tell you why they were not there.
So, what was the agreement today? What did you agree today, or was another deadlock?
I don't think when you're having a conversation, it's between agreement. It's not. You refer. I mean, it is not that you agree or you have a deadlock. I would say we have a very productive conversation today. Productive in the sense that the Trade Union Congress came up with a list of specific demands which they will want the government to address. And I believe that a lot of those demands are doable, they are viable, and they make a lot of sense.
What are these demands?
And government in return agreed to look at this comprehensively and revert back on Tuesday with a view to finding a common solution. Of course, there are a couple of them. I will just speak to one or two or three.
Okay, that's good.
The first is the fact that when you increase wage, you withdraw subsidy, you try to make some savings. In the case of Nigeria, it's even now much more serious because we're now talking of bogus figures like 6 trillion, 7 trillion naira in a year. And so if you are going to save 6-7 trillion in a year, that sounds good. If the policy implication is that you save, unfortunately, the fact of that saving means that the cost of PMS is going to go up, and therefore those who operate commercial vehicles or own private vehicles will have to pay more. And so passengers have to pay more to go to work and to return from work. Farmers have to pay more to go to the market to sell their farm produce, and also pay more to return back home. So in a sense, there's no question that removing the subsidy means some level of increase in the cost of living beyond the issue of transportation. It will cascade to every aspect of life. So in many cities. So now, how do you deal with that? Why is Labour opposed to subsidy? Labour is opposed to withdrawal of subsidy because of the consequential increase in the cost of living. So now that you have done it, then you have to deal with the other side of it, which is adjust my wages in a manner that will enable me cope with the increases in the cost of living, so that overall I protect my living standard. I think that is very, very legitimate, because the business of labor is to protect, not just protect living standard, but to even improve living standard. Everywhere around the world, nobody presides over liquidation of his own constituency. So I think it is legitimate for labor to say, if you have withdrawn the subsidy, and as a consequence I pay much more to go to work, and in no time the prices of everything will escalate to some extent in varying degrees, depending on your location, then you should also adjust my cost, my take-home pay. Number two, if you're going to make this amount of saving, then you should be able to plug back part of that savings to the wheat sector to deal with my, not just cost of transportation, but I talk about cost of living, of which transportation is only one element. So I don't think anybody can fault the demand of labor. I certainly think that there's a lot of merit in it. Now the issue is then, by how much? Now that is something that has to be discussed. The second is, you have to deal with the supply side of transportation. Sometimes transportation, cost of transportation can go up, not because of cost of PMS, or simply based on the law of supply and demand. So government can help to influence the supply side by procuring more mass transit buses and give it to those who have the know-how to manage them, including state government investing in mass transit transportation, so that on the supply side there are enough buses, and therefore nobody will take undue advantage to mark up cost of transportation in a manner that we create a lot of hardship, all over the country. Again, I believe this is doable, and it's not a new ground to be broken, to be done before. The challenge has been that these policies are not sustained. But what that means is that this time around, if you recognize that there's need to assist on the supply side, then you will have to ensure that you put the mass transit in the hands of those who have the know-how to manage them. And they are not giving away as a token. They're giving away, you are assisted to procure it, but you have to also manage the fleet in a way that you can refund or repay the money that is made available to you to the procurement or government bus purchase, and then give it to those who can run them efficiently.
So these are some of the issues raised.
Just some of them,
and it does look like the federal government team agreed with those positions. But you have to go back and look at them and get back on Tuesday. That's the plan, isn't it?
Yeah, because any day if you ask me, and I think even the president has spoken to that, you can't increase my cost of living and ask me to find an abandonment to myself. The president himself has said he is committed, he believes that the minimum wage should be increased. And not only that to be increased. However, because we are in a democracy, but even in a dictatorship, what now constitutes a realistic minimum wage must be subject of negotiations by the social partners. It's not something that the president can decree. We pass the era of president decrees that follows. So it has to be the result of negotiation between the trade unions, the organized private sector, usually represented by the Nigeria Employers Consultative Association, and of course we also want the state government to be able to be part of it, because they too have to pick up the bill arising from whatever agreement is reached, so that whatever agreement that comes out is one that benefit from the input of all those who will be affected by it one way or the other.
So immediately the low-hanging fruit are what you're looking at, and perhaps a longer-term measure to be able to cushion the effect. But these low-hanging fruit include maybe providing mass transit transportation buses or vehicles. Is that it?
Yes, plus. I mean, you can increase wages tomorrow, but I'm not sure you can procure 1,000 buses tomorrow because they are not assembled here. Even if they are assembled here, you can't assemble them within 48 hours. But none of the option, including wage increase, that you could do without the benefit of time.
So the question here, comrade,
Yeah.
is that the price of